Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast.
Good to be back.
Today we're focusing on ACM research. That's ACMR. You flagged this company for us, and, well, our goal today is to really get a handle on what drives them in this fast-moving semiconductor equipment world.
That's the plan. We'll look at their finances, where they fit in the industry.
And yeah, some of the key things affecting their stock right now.
We've got a good amount of material, some detailed financial info, recent earnings news, product awards, a company overview.
It sounds like you're aiming for a solid picture of their potential and, the forces shaping things for them.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's kick off with the financials. That revenue growth in 2024 really does stand out.
It certainly does.
They pulled in $782.12 million. That's a, 40% jump from the $557.72 million the year before?
Correct, a 40% increase. That's a pretty significant leap.
Wow. And what's compelling isn't just that number itself, is it? It's the trend.
It's the consistency. They've shown steady growth over the past few years leading up to this.
And they seem to expect it to continue. Their own forecasts for 2025 are
between $850 million and $950 million. So yes, they're signaling more growth ahead.
And it's not just revenue, right? Profitability looks strong too. Q4 2024 earnings per share.
Both GAAP and non-GAAP beat estimates. GAAP was $46. Non-GAAP, $2.56.
Better than expected. Plus, there's this pattern of EPS growing over the last few years as well.
Which suggests they're getting more efficient, maybe. It's not just selling more, but managing costs effectively as they scale.
That's a good point. It implies the growth isn't just volume. It's, potentially smarter operations too.
Leading to better margins.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting for me. The price-to-earnings ratio, it's around 15.89 currently.
About that, yes.
For a semiconductor equipment player, that feels kind of low, doesn't it?
It does. Compared to many in the sector, it's on the lower side.
Makes you wonder, potential undervaluation. Or is the market seeing something else?
That's the key question. Is it an overlooked opportunity based on their growth, or are there reasons for caution baked into that price, a potential disconnect investors often watch for?
And looking deeper, their financial structure seems solid. The debt-to-equity ratio is just 0.16.
Very low. That's a healthy sign.
It suggests they aren't relying heavily on debt to fuel that growth, which is generally positive, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a cyclical industry.
Absolutely. Less debt means more flexibility, lower financial risk. They're not overly leveraged.
Foundation. And they're generating decent cash, too.
$152 million in cash flow from operations in 2024. That's significant.
And why is strong cash flow so important here?
Well, it funds everything, doesn't it? Reinvestment, R&D for new tech. It provides a buffer against downturns, just a fundamental sign of health.
Got it. And the last financial piece, gross margin for 2024 was 50.1%.
A very solid number. Shows good profitability on their core business.
But there's a caveat for next year.
They are forecasting a slightly lower range for 2025, between 42% and 48%. That's something to keep an eye on and maybe circle back to.
Okay, noted. Let's shift gears then. Talk about their business, their place in the industry. They seem to have carved out a niche.
Yes, they've built a competitive edge in specialized wafer processing solutions.
Things like cleaning, electroplating, and stress-free polishing.
Correct. Particularly strong in advanced packaging applications. Fan-out panel-level packaging, or FOPLP, is a key area for them.
FOPLP, that's one of those cutting-edge techniques, right, for packing more power into chips.
Precisely. It's about fitting more processing capability into smaller spaces, vital for advanced electronics. ACMR's focus here is smart.
So they aren't trying to be everything to everyone like the really big guys.
Not directly. They're more of a focused challenger, you could say, specializing in these critical wet processing steps. Think of them as experts in a vital part of the manufacturing line, rather than building the whole line.
And their product offerings are expanding within that focus.
Leveraging that deep knowledge in specific crucial stages. It makes them a valuable partner.
And this specialization seems well-timed with industry trends. Demand for advanced packaging, manufacturing efficiency.
Definitely. The whole drive towards smaller, faster, more power-efficient devices fuels demand for exactly these kinds of advanced processes. ACMR is positioned well for that.
Geographically, they're in the U.S., South Korea, and China seems quite significant.
Very significant. Their presence in China is a major part of their story, tapping into that market's rapid semiconductor growth.
But that also brings potential complications, which we should discuss later.
Indeed, it's a double-edged sword in some ways.
They've also gotten some recognition, an award for one of their tools.
Yes, their Ultra ECP app e-tool won a 2025 3D Insights Award for innovation in that FOPOP area we mentioned.
That kind of validation helps, I imagine, boosts credibility.
It does. It validates their tech and enhances their reputation with customers and potential customers.
Speaking of customers, they have strong ties with big names like Huahong Group and SMIC.
Correct. Building solid relationships with major manufacturers like those provides a stable revenue base and opens doors for future business as those clients grow.
Okay, let's connect this to the stock. Performance seems influenced by strong earnings.
And those product innovations we talked about. Positive news tends to lift investor confidence.
When you beat earnings expectations and win awards for your tech, it paints a good picture.
A picture of a company that's not just growing, but also leading technologically in its niche.
And analysts seem generally positive. They like the market position and the tech.
The sentiment appears favorable, yes. Positive analyst ratings often attract more investor attention.
We saw a Zacks rank #1, a strong buy, and a growth score of B. What does that actually tell us?
Well, the Zacks rank focuses heavily on earnings estimate revisions. So #101 suggests analysts have been recently upgrading their profit forecast for ACMR. The growth score looks at historical and projected growth metrics. AB is good.
So these are signals based on their models pointing towards positive trends.
According to their methodology, yes. Strong potential for growth and positive earnings momentum.
And general investor chatter seems optimistic too. Lots of talk about long-term growth.
There seems to be that undercurrent. Of course, sentiment can change quickly, but the discussions often highlight that long-term potential.
Now the competition. They're up against some giants. Lam Research, Applied Materials, Tokyo Electron.
Those are the established leaders, the titans of the industry, offering broad suites of tools.
So how does a company like ACMR stand out against them? You mentioned the focus.
It's that specialization in wet processing, combined with their significant foothold in the Chinese market.
So they pick their battles, focusing where they have deep expertise.
Exactly. And China provides a large, growing market where they've established a strong presence, though, as we noted, that comes with its own set of considerations.
Okay, let's talk about those considerations. Risks and challenges. The potential for subsidiaries ending up on the U.S. entity list. That sounds serious.
It is a significant risk factor. Being on that list could restrict their access to certain U.S. components and technologies.
Potentially disrupting their manufacturing.
It could, yes, affecting their supply chain, maybe forcing redesigns. The company believes the impact would be manageable, but it's a situation investors are watching very closely.
What are the potential ripple effects if that were to happen?
Difficulty sourcing key parts, potential production delays, needing to find alternative suppliers. It adds complexity and potential cost.
And that dependence on major Chinese customers, it makes them vulnerable to geopolitics, doesn't it?
It does. Geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, these things can impact demand, operations, and market access in ways that are hard to predict or control.
So those broader tensions and trade policies are a general risk factor, especially for their China operations.
It's an industry-wide concern, but companies with heavy exposure to specific regions feel it more acutely.
Plus, U.S. export controls on components could bite.
Restrictions on accessing specific necessary parts could definitely impact tool production, add costs, or cause delays.
And back to that gross margin forecast, dropping from 50% to maybe 42, 48% in 2025. Why might that happen?
Could be several things. Maybe a different mix of products being sold, higher material costs perhaps linked to those supply chain or geopolitical issues.
Or maybe increased price competition in some areas.
That's possible too. It might even be a strategic choice, perhaps prioritizing gaining market share over maximizing margin in the short term.
We'd need more detail from the company to know for sure.
Okay, so definite challenges, but there are opportunities too, right? Expansion into new products.
That's a key opportunity. Diversifying their offerings could reduce risk and open new growth avenues.
And leveraging that strong position in China despite the risks.
If they navigate the complexities successfully, the sheer size and growth of the Chinese semiconductor market offers significant upside potential.
And they seem committed to ongoing R&D, innovation, which is absolutely vital in this sector. You have to stay on the cutting edge. That award reinforces this.
And the financial projections remain positive overall. Revenue growth, EPS growth expected.
The consensus estimate is for nearly 20% EPS growth in 2025, up to $2.15 per share. That paints a promising picture, though estimates are just estimates.
Right, subject to change. Lastly, that recent process qualification in China. Does that suggest they can navigate the tricky regulatory environment?
It's a positive sign, certainly. It suggests resilience, adaptability. It offers some comfort that they can manage the operational hurdles in that key market.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. ACMR. It looks like a compelling, complex story. Strong growth, cool tech, big presence in a key market.
But operating against a backdrop of geopolitical risks, potential regulatory hurdles, and margin pressure.
So, for someone trying to understand ACMR, what's the takeaway? It's a company with real momentum, real potential.
But also when facing significant complexities inherent to the industry and its specific market focus. This exploration gives a solid baseline using the info you brought.
Which leads to the big question, doesn't it? How will ACM research keep navigating this tricky global scene and hold on to its competitive edge?
Definitely something worth watching closely going forward.
Thanks for sharing these sources. Hope this exploration has helped clarify the picture.
Hope so too.
If you found this helpful, please do subscribe, like, and comment. We're always looking for new companies and topics to examine.